Minor mistake on the first take, so I'm going to go ahead and do the second take on this record. Coming in at number 72 the week of December 31st, 1966 on Billboard's Hot 100. Hanging in there on the Hot 100, Roy Orbison with Communication Breakdown. The bulk of Roy Orbison's hits was with the Monument record label. This was the early 60s. Only the Lonely, Crying, Dream Baby, Mean Woman Blues, which was originally done by Elvis back in the 50s, but redone by Roy Orbison, big pop hit for him back in 1963, and there's some more by Roy Orbison. I'll mention a couple others that he did in just a minute. With Sun Records back in the mid-50s, had Ooby Dooby back in 1956, and then just a string of hits off the Monument record in the early 60s. Then in 1964, 1965, Roy Orbison signed with the MGM record label. Now, I read that one of the reasons why he signed with MGM, and don't quote me on this, I just read this years ago, was because there might be a possible movie deal that would be involved. Like Elvis crossed over into the movies. The thing was, Roy Orbison, as gifted as he was, did not have Elvis's looks. A lot of people regarded Roy Orbison as physically unattractive. I even heard a rumor one time, years ago, that when Roy Orbison went on television in England, the British producers there were like, oh my God, how are we going to get this guy on TV? What's the public going to say? People could be cruel when it comes to looks. But when you go beyond that, Roy Orbison had a voice of an angel. And he also married a woman who was drop dead gorgeous, but she was killed in a motorcycle accident in 1966. Two of his children were killed in a house fire. I think 2 or 3 of his children were killed in a house fire in 1968. Roy Orbison knew some tragedy. Well, anyway, signed with MGM Record, but he was not as successful with MGM Records. The British invasion probably just took its toll on him. The last 2 big hits he had, It's Over in the spring of '64, then Pretty Woman went to number 1. Pretty Woman would be his last top 10 hit until he came out with You Got It in 1989. Just before or after he passed away, Roy Orbison. The album is called Cry Softly Lonely One. Off the MGM record label. It was released in October 1967, but Communication Breakdown was on this album. The song, I want to talk about one of the songs on that album, the title track, Cry Softly Lonely One. It was 2 songwriters, Joe Melson, who co-wrote Only the Lonely, one of Roy Orbison's early real big hits off the Monument label. The other guy who wrote the song Cry Softly Lonely One, oh, get ready for this, Don Gant. Now you're kind of like, what? Who the hell are you talking about? I thought you was going to say somebody like Paul McCartney or John Lennon. No, Don Gant. Who the hell is Don Gant? Why are you getting so excited about Don Gant? Well, I'll tell you why. Don Gant formed a group along with Tupper Saussey, and I never could pronounce this guy's last name. It's Saussey. Along with Tupper Saussey, Don Gant formed a group. These 2 guys formed the Neon Philharmonic Orchestra. They had that huge hit with Morning Girl in the summer of '69. Do you remember? Spring and summer of '69, it was Don Gant who sang on Morning Girl while Saussey played the keyboards, and they had the Nashville Symphony Orchestra playing in the background. What a lovely record. An adorable record. Well, I just found out that Don Gant co-wrote that song Cry Softly Lonely One by Roy Orbison. At that time, Don Gant, he was a songwriter at Acuff Rose Music in Nashville, Tennessee. All right, let's go to the song Communication Breakdown, number 72, Billboard's Hot 100, December 31st, 1966.